This is a huge problem with AA propaganda, is the people drunk on the Kool-Aid are drunk on the Kool-Aid. They can't see straight. What I mean is that we're not thinking critically when we're possessed by an ideology. If we're inside AA and we think AA is the way, we're not seeing straight. We're not seeing that there is no modern science at all inside AA. Hello, welcome to the Sobriety Bestie podcast. My name is Kirsten, and I'm so glad you're here as we're kicking off a new series about AA propaganda, covering all of the AA propaganda things in media, TV shows, movies, or podcasts like this, where Brad Pitt is featured on Dax Shepard's podcast, The Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. I also want to say that this is nothing personal against Brad or Dax. This is against the ideology that they are promoting in here, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. I was, in fact, a huge Brad Pitt fan in my past. When I was in grad school at UCLA, I suggested a very specific cafe in Brentwood, where UCLA is in Brentwood, Los Angeles. I specifically recommended a cafe to do like our 5-hour study group at, because I knew that the premiere was going to happen in a couple hours across the street for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And so I knew Brad Pitt was going to be there and they were going to roll out the red carpet and all of that jazz. The whole block got super crowded. I have a master's in statistics, so we were doing our math homework there. And they're like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, this is not against Brad. It's not against Dax. This is against the ideology, Alcoholics Anonymous being unexamined. I take a stand against blindly being obedient to a 90-year-old cult religion, essentially, instead of looking at modern medical science or thinking critically about what actually works today.
Meeting you in that context. You're at this meeting. We're going to get into the fact that a bazillion famous people have come to this meeting and everyone's used to it. And then you came and it was pretty overwhelming. And I got a real sense of what your experience is in this way that I couldn't really fathom. But you have the power of, when you are in a place, everyone can't stop thinking about you. And I was like, God, he has to be aware of that.
So he's basically saying he understands how powerful Brad is, what influence level he must have when he goes anywhere. Is he also seeing what power Brad Pitt has and influence Brad would have on his podcast when they talk about meeting in AA together and being AA members together and promoting AA, proselytizing for AA that AA is the way? What about that power of what you're doing to the public consciousness right now? The problem with people who promote AA like this is they likely aren't very aware that they're promoting AA, or if they are, they're not aware of the harms that are actually inside the AA ideology, that the ideology itself is harmful. And so to me, this is a huge problem with AA propaganda, is the people drunk on the Kool-Aid are drunk on the Kool-Aid. They can't see straight. What I mean is that we're not thinking critically when we're possessed by an ideology. If we're inside AA and we think AA is the way, we're not seeing straight. We're not seeing that there is no modern science at all inside AA. It was written 90 years ago, and you certainly wouldn't go to a brain surgeon that hadn't updated or evolved in 90 years. And so not only is there no science in it, it's actually a cult religion. It is harmful. It teaches you to betray yourself, to outsource your power, your agency, your autonomy to your sponsor, to the group, and to a higher power. So it slowly is eroding your self-esteem, your self-trust, and your personal power, quite frankly. And it teaches us to not think critically. It pathologizes critical thinking. It tells us that we can't trust our own thinking. There are so many ways that AA ideology in and of itself, separate from the people in AA who are harmful and abusive, that the ideology itself is harmful. And so to me, the people who are promoting AA ideology are blind from it. They can't actually see what it actually is. To me, when you dig deeper into the origins of AA, and I'll pop a video up here of the origins of AA, which is quite shocking to a lot of us once we leave and deconstruct and realize how harmful it is. When you dig into the origins of AA, when you study cult psychology and you learn about high control systems and you realize about all the emotional manipulation that was done inside Alcoholics Anonymous as a result of the indoctrination of the 12-step program, it's quite shocking and startling. And it's a big deconstruction process for a lot of us when we leave. And the reason we get sucked in the first place, yes, because we have a problem with alcohol or we want to change our relationship with alcohol, but it's from the AA propaganda, like this podcast right here.
What does that feel like? That's a lot to deal with. How is he ever going to open up and be honest in this space? And then it dissipates a bit. People get a little more comfortable. And then you were so fucking honest. And I was like, he must have a stubbornness like I have, which is like, yeah, all this is going on, but I refuse to not let me be a person.
Oh, it's interesting. Never thought about it that way. I was I was pretty much on my back.
Yeah.
On my knees. And I was really I was trying anything and everyone. Anything anyone threw at me. It was a particular difficult time. I needed rebooting. I needed to wake the fuck up in some areas. And it just meant a lot to me. So the first is, oh my God, it's coming around. It's coming around. It's getting closer. It's going to be yours.
Yeah.
But everyone was so open.
It's contagious, right?
It is. It gives you permission in a way to go, okay, I'm going to step out on this edge and see what.
Okay, so it's contagious. What's contagious is the group humiliation ritual, the confessions, the group confessions where you share in the meeting.
And then I really, I just really grew to love it.
When another dude shares so honestly.
So he grew to love it. Like, I feel like what I want to say here is when I was in AA, I loved it. And a lot of people now say that I'm dissenting because I had a bad time in AA or a bad experience in AA. No, I did love it. And for me, that's part of the indoctrination is feeling like you love it. And if you are in AA and feel like you love it, you're not going to be able to see that that's part of the indoctrination. That's how I see it now.
Yeah.
And open about his struggles and his defects. And it gets to you.
His defects. So we're just going to look through the ideology in here, the defects of character. This is part of the shame.
Don't you feel like
Obligated.
you owe him that honesty in return?
Okay, you owe him that honesty in return. This is like such a, like the guilt, when AA makes us feel like we owe something, we owe our honesty, we owe them something in return. It's so culty that we owe them something. That's a huge red flag for me.
And it was also, anything could go because some guys would be like, you know what, didn't have such a bad week. Sure did this and this worked and this was, and talk about their wins, So it's like,
I made my bed and I had a great finish.
Little failures and little successes and and you know what? I woke up and I'm going to do it again tomorrow. So that too. And then there's always, what do you think? There's about 30 guys in roughly?
Yeah.
But then there's always one guy there's always one guy though. He just loves to hear himself talk and just go. And
that's
just
tough.
and wait till you get through the next one. It's actually not tough. It's pretty funny.
There's
Well, Dax had in a fight with someone over it once,
I
didn't
did
you?
get in a fight in that room, yeah.
Oh, really?
I did,
missed that one. I missed that week.
We told the story on the podcast, so I don't mind saying it out loud again, but the actor Eric Dane, who I now fucking love.
Yeah.
I have such a sweetness for him now.
Yeah. Yeah, we all had a mini group over there.
Oh, yeah. Right. He was hosting.
At Eric's.
But when we first were around each other, it was not good. And then he threatened a dude in the meeting. And I said, let's go, motherfuckers. In the middle of the meeting, he goes, if you hit that timer again, I'm going to fucking throw you in that candle.
That
I
was
just
right
like,
the time.
Wow. Red flag.
And I go, that's it, motherfucker. Let's go. Stand up. Let's
We got a couple red flags here.
go outside. You think go outside? I'm going to beat the fuck out of Tom's driveway.
And an A, baby.
This is a spiritual program of action right here.
And
That's
and
hilarious.
understanding. And then, but what's great is we're friends now and we told that story on the podcast. And it's like
fun.
quite a hilarious beginning for us.
It's great that you're friends now. Did you make amends to the group for making it so chaotic and scary and unsafe? Did you even care about anybody besides the fact that you have a friend now?
Oh, I love him. But anyways, I set all that up just to say is I felt very compassionate to what you go through. And I never sweated you. I wasn't like coming up to you, hey man, I'm Dax, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't really interact a ton with you. I do want everyone in the world to know, like, You're insanely gracious. You learned everyone's name. You engage with people. I almost thought you were particularly good at assessing who was kind of low status, and you seem to really be kind to those people. There was a thing going, and
Selective love bombing.
I really
It
respect
was really moving. I mean, some of these men were so moving.
I have a quick question about the meeting before
Go.
we leave. the meeting.
Yeah.
Go.
When you first get there, are you thinking, like when it's going around, are you thinking, are people going to talk about me specifically? Like, is there any nerves going into a meeting when you do have to be very vulnerable and like people there might have an extra interest in my story?
So I've heard of stories where like Philip Seymour Hoffman went to one and someone videoed it and put it out.
See, that's scary.
But I've been assured by another friend this was a safe place.
He was assured that it was a safe place, but we literally just heard about a fight breaking out with mofo language and stuff. So how safe is the meeting actually?
I am a stubborn fuck, but I am also, when I've stepped in shit, I'm pretty good at taking responsibility for it and owning up to it.
Yeah.
And now it's a quest to, what do I do with this? What, how can I write this and make sure it doesn't happen again, or just
Be better.
Yeah, be better.
Yeah.
Step up. And so I was really open to that. And I was really open to see what these guys were doing who had their thing and been there for a while. Sure, I was a bit shy. I can generally be a bit shy in any kind of situation first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just remember getting my arms around it pretty quickly and really, it became a thing for me.
He got indoctrinated very quickly. The indoctrination can happen faster than we think. The 90 and 90 is like full on the indoctrination process, but a lot of us get roped in sooner. I know it took me about 60 days of AA until I locked into the system and then got stuck in the system for a decade. So the indoctrination totally happens quickly, as he just said.
Yeah, it was really something I look forward to.
Yeah. Me too. That was a very kind of special.
Yeah.
But it's hard, even in like therapy, even me in therapy, who no one cares, but I'm like, should I tell my therapist? Could care less. But I'm like, should I tell her everything? What if she tells somebody something? There's just like, there's always that.
Oh, no, I
don't have
didn't
that.
know. When I jumped into
It's
therapy
great.
then, I was just blah, 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 and I did this, and I did that, and da-da-da, and I did
Good
that.
for you. That's good. Trusting.
Or
Stupid.
desperate.
No, well, desperate's a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't come into AA because everything's working out fantastic.
No, that's usually not the entry point.
It's not the winner's club. Yeah, most people, like, your hair's got to be on fire before you go, like, yeah, I'll go hang with a bunch of dudes and talk about emotions.
My feelings.
My feelings. Yes,
I'll go join a religious cult.
it's not the most appealing offering.
And I think that's because we all know it's a cult religion before we get there. I know when I showed up at AA, I knew it was a cult religion. And then when I got there, I was convinced and indoctrinated into the fact very aggressively that it's not a cult and it's not a religion. And that if it is a cult, we need the brainwashing anyway, I was told. And we're not religious, we're spiritual, I was told. But the entire thing is a path towards God or a higher power of your understanding. It is entirely a religion and it is a cult. But the brainwashing, the indoctrination is it's not. And I think at our core, we know it's sketchy and weird and that we see the rituals and the practices. So none of us want to go be a part of that. And then as we get indoctrinated, the conditioning and the thought reform is to not let us be able to see that. And then, then we get connected so deeply. And a lot of us, not everybody, of course, feel that we really love it. And maybe what we're really loving or what I was really loving was the connection and the authenticity, what felt like authenticity and not being alone in the recovering from alcohol addiction part of the journey. Definitely the cult religion part of it. I think most of us can do without.
Was it already the situation where it's like a bazillion takes? Was that at all? Because I sucked. Tons of takes.
The only time I ever did that, where I had that was on Fight Club, and it was a big steady cam shot outside in the parking lot, coming into the bar, going down, starting the Fight Club. Yeah. That one
Do you remember Fight Club? The first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. Does he remember what the second A in AA stands for? Anonymous? That we don't talk about Alcoholics Anonymous on the internet or press, radio, film, and social media, if we can extend the 11th tradition. It's fascinating to me that celebrities will talk about Alcoholics Anonymous And when we all know, just like Fight Club, that we don't talk about it. We don't talk about Fight Club. We don't talk about Alcoholics Anonymous. But here we are talking about Alcoholics Anonymous. Obviously, AA indoctrination for most of us happens way before we step into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. It happens through things like this, through A-list celebrities talking about Alcoholics Anonymous. And so how did you first hear about Alcoholics Anonymous? Do you even remember? I know for me, in the back of my mind, I knew about it because of Hollywood media press, all of the things. It's already in public consciousness as a valid path to sobriety, but there's no science in it. There's no verification. There's no updating it since the 1930s. AA propaganda is part of the reason why a lot of us end up getting stuck in AA for so long. It's because we really feel like AA is where we're supposed to go to get sober. It's in the back of our minds because of all the times that we've seen it in media, in Hollywood, on podcasts like this, that AA is the way. What I really wish is that we knew that other paths are science-backed, are modern, evolve with science, are verified, are way more effective, and that we can actually, as people in 2025, wake up to paths to sobriety that are validated and modern, and not keep promoting a 1930s cult religion as if it is an actual solution or recovery path. And so my question is, what do you think? What do you think about AA propaganda? So let me know in the comments what you think, and if you know of any other AA propaganda pieces that I should consider covering for this AA propaganda series that we're doing. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.